All right, welcome Triton Trojans fans. Andy O'Hara alongside Kenny Barnhart and the Hall of Famer, the man in the middle tonight, Orion Limler, for the Triton Trojan Sports Network. As we're recording this game here at the Panther Pit of NorthWood High School, as our Trojans travel in to take on the NorthWood Panthers. Of course, NorthWood 2-1 on the season, Triton 1-1 the season, following that loss against Plymouth on Tuesday night. As they come into a difficult place to play here, the Panther Pit. It's been about 12 years since I've been in this gym, and it's been a while, and it hasn't changed much since then. Triton 1-1 on the season. Wins against Oregon Davis and a loss against Plymouth. And Northwood 2 wins against Lakeland and Muncie Burris, and they lost to Harris Christian during a tournament. Of course, Jason Groves, 14 seasons here at Triton, 232 wins for him. Aaron Wolfe, 186 wins in his 12th year at Northwood. Of course, the series last 30 years, Northwood leading that series 20 games to 5. They won here. They won against us a season ago, 57-35, and they're favored very heavily tonight, according to John Harrell. We'll see what the small ball has in all store for us here tonight, as our guys are going to go up against a very tough Northern Lakes team here in Northwood. Of course, leading the way from the season-wise for us is Ashton Oviedo, 10.5 points for him, 7.5 for Beau Hepler, who is in his sling, will not be playing tonight. Tye Orsund with 7 points averaging 7 points a game, and his 5.5 rebounds a game. So that with Tye coming back after a year removed from playing basketball, he'll be our post-game interview if I can get a hold of him tonight. So Kenny, what do you think the guys need to do tonight as far as to compete against this tough team?
Well, against Plymouth, they just got stifled there. Got in the second half or second quarter, and they just couldn't get the ball moved like they had been doing earlier, especially against Oregon Davis. So take those lessons from that, apply it to here. Northwood has, just like Plymouth does, Northwood has their number. So I think they're at 20-5 over the last 25 years since they've met. But hey, these are stress tests. Take what you can. If you can't win, but yet take off this and move forward when you get into that conference.
Well, when you play those games, like I said during football season, iron sharpens iron. You play the tougher teams. To be the best, you got to beat the best, or learn to compete against them. And then playing teams like this, those tougher teams, those bigger, larger classes, we saw the girls do playing several tough games from the early go. They won against LaVille Wednesday night. Those kind of contests really prepares your team, gets you battle tested. So when you go to play those H&AC games, those conference games, especially sectionals, you're battle tested and ready to go as far as competing wise and be able to know what to do in those moments.
My boys was growing up, and they did some of these small junior leagues, 5th and 6th grade, 4th graders going up to South Bend, playing some of these, you just will call it barn ball or step above barn ball. Yes, they got blown away, but yet they learned, and then when you come into an environment like this, it's not shell shock.
Exactly, and that's the best thing you can prepare your kids for, coming into an environment like this, playing in tough environments, tough gyms like that, and playing against big teams, and kind of learning how to learn from losses or anything, learn from tough teams. And if you come out and win either way, the lessons you can learn and pull from those, the way you go in the next game, you're not completely, like you said, shell shocked on what you'll be going into the next game. So we're about getting ready to get things underway as our Trojans are going to take the floor. Eventually.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Okay. Last second chat. Oh, there comes Jason. So I'm sure the boys will be trailing after him at some point. So we're going to have the national anthem here. Then we'll be followed by the starting lineups. We'll be right back on the Triton Trojan Sports Network.
High school basketball. Tonight, the Panthers welcome the Triton Trojans to the pit.
All right, now we'll have the starting lineups for both teams. Tonight, starting for our Triton Trojans, we're going to have Tye Orsund, Jared Bules, Ashton Oviedo, Quentin Amsden, and Lucas Richman round the 5 for them. But once again, no Beau Hepler as he's injured, and no Tyler Heckaman. That's going to be hurting Triton as far as depth in the bench and size and experience out on the floor. Triton, of course, in their away blue uniforms, white numbers and letters across for them, outlined in gold letters across the chest, and then, of course, the striping down the sides. there you have your starting lineups for the Northwood Panthers. We're going to have Brock Vincent, Brock Flickinger, Ben Vincent, Trent Edwards, Matt Dutkowski, and Nick Bean rounding out the 5 for them. As Edwards will get ready to jump against Richmond, we'll get this game underway here at the Panther Pit at Northwood High School here in Napanee, Indiana. Of course, Andy O'Hara alongside Kenny Barnhart and Orion Limler here for the Triton Trojans Sports Network. So Richmond and Edwards will go for the tip. And we're underway here at the Panther Pit. Orsund comes away with it. Bules back to Amsden. Quentin will work left. Tries to find Bules. Pseudo covered, finds Oviedo. He'll save it just from going over and back. He'll try to reset. The freshman will come back to the center. On over to Amsden. Back to Orsund. Tye thought about spotting for 3. Couldn't get Bean to move there. Bules will try to drive back to center. Finds Amsden. Amsden will try to put it on the floor. Back to Bules. Oh, outside for him. Get things set. Amsden will drive. Spins around. Tries to get out of trouble. Cross court. Bules. Bules will have to drive. Finds Orsund. Orsund against Edwards. Or Vincent. Drops it away, and Bean will tip it out, and Triton will hang on to it.
Just too much ball movement right now. They need to cut some in there to the middle and get some of those guys to sink in, take some shots.
Well, they did a good job against Plymouth when they kind of got that one kid to kind of fall through.
Yeah, see, now this is what we're going to have.
Just the speed and the size. Kind of throwing off our small ball attack that we have. So Edwards will bring it up. Over to Flickinger. He'll back to Edwards. He'll leave it for Vincent over here in the corner. The lefty shoots. Sidearm no good. Rebound Bules. Bules will hang on to it. Finds Amsden. Quentin will be pushing up past the half-court line. Got to cut to the basket. Orsund with the basketball. And there he goes. Drives baseline. And he'll try to go, but he'll get. We're going to get a foul?
I think he stepped on the line.
Okay, stepped on the line. So. Right idea, just keep cutting to the basket. Tye Orsund is going to have to really work himself in there. Oviedo, of course, averaging 10.5 points a game. It's going to kind of have that scoring is going to have to really come in bunches here tonight for the guys. The last time against Plymouth, like you said, fell apart in that second quarter and just couldn't seem to find it on the offensive side. And a travel there by Bean. Northwood turns it over. Northwood's going to put on the full court press and see if they can use that pressure against Triton. Amsden almost loses it. Back to Bules. Oviedo now on the far side. Back to Bules. He's going to reset on over to Amsden. He's going to try to drop it back. Bules gets it over to Oviedo. Just needs to settle down here. Drives to the basket. On over to Amsden. Amsden for 3. Oh, not in. Rebound goes to Dutkowski. Dutkowski will come up past the half-court line. Leaves it over here to Flickinger. Over to Bean. Bean with the up fake. Orsund quickly guarded him on that one. Bean's going to try to get the screen from Dutkowski, but Orsund splits it. Flickinger over in the far, or excuse me, Vincent over in the far corner. Onward to Flickinger here on the near side. He'll take off, leaves it in for Dutkowski. He'll go up strong and one opportunity for him. Matt Dutkowski finds it there. That foul on Jared Bules be his first personal. Then Dutkowski will make the first trip to the charity stripe. Shots up, it's in. Bules will inbound this full-court press. Triton's going to have to find a way to penetrate that. Oviedo here in the corner. Picks it up. He's got the speed and gets around Vincent and pushes it up past. Finds Orsund, but late pass there to Orsund. Bean, cross-court. Vincent for 3. Puts it in. Ben Vincent. 6-0's our score. Oviedo drops into Richman. Lucas back to Bules on top. He's going to try to let things kind of develop. Hands it to Amsden. Going to have to penetrate Amsden, of course, directing traffic. Oviedo looked like he had a look in there on the cut. Finds Richman atop the key. Lucas got to get rid of it. Got to put the ball on the floor and attack. Orsund on the wing, back to Amsden up top. He'll dribble away. Finds Bules. Back to Richman. Triton just can't seem to find anything to open up inside the three-point line.
They got it stretched out way out behind the three-point, but they just can't get it anything to get inside of there.
Of course, the size of Dutkowski and Bean kind of forced them out, but don't count out Edwards and Vincent. They got some length to them. Triton with long offensive possession here, not really trying to attack the basket yet. But this might be part of the strategy. Now Bules will drive in. He'll try to draw the foul, but Dutkowski comes away with it. And that's one of the things that Jason's trying to do, maybe slow him down, slow the pace down to kind of attack him. Dutkowski's up. Nope. Orsund takes it away, and Amsden will work it up past the half-court line. Amsden finds Bules. Fast break three is up. Not good. Rebound, Trent Edwards. Edwards works himself around. He's pushing the basketball up. He'll take it himself down the lane, goes up strong. Got it. And Jason Groves will take a timeout there. That's his first. Give me what you call one of those learning experiences here in that early going.
Yeah, they just, figure out what they're going to do, how much they're going to push. If they're going to let them pass around the outside, that's probably what they're, get ahead and, don't have to score a lot of points. It only takes 1 point to win.
Exactly, and if you play on the defensive stand, slow the basketball down, especially on the offensive side, make their defensive guys to stay out there and get tired, just try to wear them down, then try to attack in. It's kind of what it seems like the approach is, at least from on the offensive side at least.
It might be one of those things, pass around the outside, let those guys kind of lose their guard a little bit, and all of a sudden somebody's cutting through, get them a good look.
Try to get them falling asleep or trying to get them lazy on a pass, and if the guys can get penetration like Orsund cutting to the basket. Of course, don't leave Amsden and Bules alone from the three-point line very long. Of course, Oviedo, we know he can score 10.5 points on the season for the freshman. His 2018-29, his freshman campaign. Atkins comes in for the Trojans. And we're going to get a foul. Oh, I guess we say step. Nope.
No.
It is a foul.
Blocking.
It's going to be on Vincent. Of course, Atkins coming in for Bules. Oviedo tries to go across. Orsund comes away with it. Amsden's going to drive the basket up fake. It's going to go up strong. Side iron, no good. Rebound into Edwards. Edwards looking down court for somebody. Finds Vincent. Vincent will work it down in. We got a new guy in. That's Borkholder, 21. And we're going to get a foul. Looks like it's going to be on Tye Orsund. On the floor for Northwood, we're going to have Vincent, Borkholder, Flickinger, Bean, and Edwards. On the floor for our Trojans, Lucas, Richman, Oviedo, Atkins, Amsden, and Tye Orsund. Edwards trying to find somebody, drops in. Flickinger finds Borkholder at the elbow, on over to Bean on the right wing. Hill drives, drops it, on over to Edwards. Trying to free up their bigs. Edwards over to Flickinger, drops it down into Borkholder. Borkholder big on big here. Shot goes up, it's in. Northwood now leads by 10. Atkins receives the basketball. The senior pushes it on up to Oviedo. Oviedo trying to get away, but Flickinger stops it. Amsden gets it across. Tries to drop to Orsund. Hesitate on the pass. Edwards knocked it away. Bean's going to drive. Finds Flickinger. He'll go up strong in the fast break shot, but he's going to travel before he goes. I think he drugged that pivot foot trying to go up. He couldn't make his mind up, kind of hesitated. Jared Bules will check in for Amsden. Go ahead.
Oh, that's right. I was just checking to make sure who was going for where.
Richman with the basketball. This is to Atkins. Kaden Atkins has got to make something happen here on offense.
Yeah.
Cross court, Oviedo open for three. Too strong. Finds Bean. He's going to have numbers on the fast break. Drops it on up to Borkholder. Borkholder stops on the baseline. Back to Bean. He's going to drive to the basket. Hop step. It's up. Not good. Rebound. Lucas Richman. Finds Bules. Got to watch behind. Bean's closing in on him. He'll drive. Bean tips it away. Got to use that on-court awareness to pick out where the defenders are coming from. Need to keep talking. Edwards stops. Borkholder for the mid-range jumper. Side out. Oh, gets a friendly roll there. Lucas Richmond pushes up to Tye Orsund, but Bean uses that length and knocks it out. Keegan Westafer and Quentin Amsden checking in for the Trojans. That'll send Oviedo and Richmond to the bench. Dutkowski will come in. That'll send Bean to the bench. So Flickinger, Dutkowski, Edwards, Borkholder, and Vincent all in the game for the Panthers. Orsund, Amsden, Bules, Westafer, and Atkins all on the floor for our Trojans. Atkins drops over to Keegan. He'll work over to Tye Orsund. Kind of working around the perimeter, trying to find something to work, kind of open up, trying to wear him down. Finds Atkins. Atkins drops into Keegan Westafer. He's going to work in the post against the bigger Borkholder. Back to Atkins, on top to Bules. On over to Orsund. Orsund thought about it. Got to put it on the floor, and he does. He's going to try to cut. On over to Bules. Bules thought about the three, drives, finds Atkins. Atkins will force a three, side iron. Rebound, Flickinger. Triton can't buy a basket on that far side.
And no rebounds, just one and done.
Edwards will drive the baseline, floater for him, no good. Rebound, Borkholder, put back is good. NorthWood leads by 14. Amsden with the basketball, is going to work up, finds Bules. He'll come across the half-court line, stops, top the key, finds Westafer. Back to Amsden. Back to Bules, on over to Atkins. Atkins thought about it, finds Westafer. Westafer, he'll try to drive. Not there, but they're going to say double dribble. Might have caught on his leg there before they held it just enough. Bean will check in for Vincent for the Panthers. Inside a minute remaining. They lead by 14. Triton needs a basket here, a big stop on defense to go down and put some points on there for some confidence going that second quarter. Flickinger leaves it for Edwards. Edwards drops it back to Dutkowski, closely guarded by Atkins, back to Edwards. Edwards leaves for Flickinger in the corner. Amsden closes on him quickly. 40 seconds now. Back to Edwards. Edwards back to Dutkowski, on over to Bean in the far side. He'll drive. He's Borkholder, leaves it for Edwards. Drops down to Bean, got the look they wanted it. And he'll draw the foul. That looks like it'll be on Tye Orsund.
Tye's two fouls now.
Got to keep him in the game. He's going to be that one source of offense that will be able to cut against him. As Bean knocks that one down. Amsden, Atkins, Richman, Bules, and Oviedo on the floor for Triton. Bean shooting the free throw for NorthWood. Off the front iron, no good. Rebound, Dutkowski, and Richman will get him on the foul. So 14 fouls for the Trojans. Only one for NorthWood. Dutkowski's first shot is up. It's in. Westafer will check back in. Richman will go take a seat. So Triton's two bigger guys, Richman and Orsund down. Westafer stands at 6'1". As the second shot for Dutkowski goes in. Amsden receives it. Trying to direct traffic. Got to get a basket here. 20 seconds. Got to push it.
Got to get something for this quarter. A lot of effort, but got to show something for it.
13 seconds. 10 seconds now. Atkins the basketball, finds Oviedo. Oviedo bobbles a little bit. Westafer's going to push. He'll force a three up. Got it! Keegan Westafer puts Triton on the board with that three ball. And unfortunately, a rough first quarter. NorthWood leads 17-3.
Well, it's pretty easy for Triton. Leading scorer is Keegan, 3 points.
Unfortunately, they're trying to stretch, like you said, stretch the offense. They're trying to stretch the guys out, try to wear them down. You're not going to get a lot of points on the board, especially if they're not following their shot and kind of chasing those rebounds. It's like, it seems like they're just, the size has kind of got them overwhelmed in the paint.
Yeah, they just getting that one and done, getting a shot up. Not a very good shot on some of them, and they grab the ball and down the court they go.
Well, now, and with me, like I said, when I went to Warsaw, Northwood, I mean, they weren't the tallest guys, but they eat well, and these guys are tough.
Yes.
I mean, they're a strong group of kids. I mean, their smallest guy is just as tough. And they're not, and I mean, that kind of thing. I mean, our guys are tough. Our guys got that attitude and that toughness, but when you kind of come into the place, the pit is an overwhelming place to play in. But for Triton, going to stand tall in this second quarter, going to have to really come alive on the offensive side, or just can basically hold them on defense and try to do everything they can to get points up on that board. Of course, the loss of Beau Hepler, that shooting stroke from him, kind of wearing on them a little bit. Orsund and Richman will check back in. Oviedo, Amsden, and Bules all on the floor for our Trojans. Bean, Borkholder, Vincent, Edwards, and I believe Stratford, the 6'2 juniors, on the floor for Northwood. Tallest player for them, 6'3", and so for us, that's the same height as Lucas Richman. But they got 3 guys on the floor right now. They got that LinkedIn athleticism to counter against that small ball attack. Edwards goes up strong. The pretty lane, not up. Rebound, Tye Orsund. Averages about 5 rebounds a game, almost 6. Shows it off there. On to Oviedo, back to Bules. Quick hit over to Amsden. Amsden will drive, stops, finds Orsund. In the corner to Bules. Back on top to Oviedo. Oviedo, he's going to drive. Tries to go to Richman, but Bean steps in front of it. Right idea, but got to get those passes a little. We got to predetermine those passes. Edwards shoots for 3. Got it. Bules now, find Oviedo. 23 is our score here at the Panther Pit. Oviedo stops, cross court Amsden. Back to Bules. On over to Orsund. Back to Bules, he'll get a screen for 3. Got it. Second three-pointer drops for Triton. Edwards will go to work. Trying to use that, trying to play off the screen from Borkholder, drives the baseline, finds good. Oh.
Got him in the body. A little on the bottom of the arm.
That's got to be frustrating for Lucas Richman. He does a good job playing down there in the post defensively and offensively. He just does a good job trying to get separation. Also just forcing guys out. The Stratford will go to the line for 2. Shots up, back iron. Two really good coaches here tonight, Aaron Wolfe and Jason Groves. To me, it was kind of a fun matchup looking back as our JV coach played for Aaron Wolfe back in his days at Warsaw. Oviedo receives the pass in the corner. Back to Bules. He'll drive, stops, finds Richman. Richman finds Oviedo. He's open for 3. Side iron, no good. Ball will go out on Borkholder, and Triton will hang back onto it. Like I said, Aaron Wolfe's a very tough coach. Has had a lot of successful years as coaching the JV at Warsaw. He's had a lot of successful in his time here at Northwood. Richmond receives the inbound. Of course, opposite side that, Jason Groves, a guy who's taken teams to state and does a real good job coaching these boys and really kind of help them mature as Bules will try a 3. Got it!
That's the only way we're scoring tonight, all 3s.
Hey, 3 points. That's do everything you can to chip away at that scoreboard. Bean picks it up, forces over to Edwards. Stutter step, trying to leave it for Vincent. Amsden closely shut that door. Edwards finds Borkholder. Stratford will cut. Oviedo forced that one out. Bean will drive, stops the elbow, drops it to Vincent. He'll try a 3. The lefty shot is good. Amsden with it. Go ahead.
Vincent's got 6 points, which him and Borkholder are leading us Northwood this evening.
Foul will be on Stratford. Only 2 team fouls for Northwood thus far. 5:35 remaining here in the second quarter. Don't go by the scoreboard. I'm sure they'll figure it out at some point. Unless they go by halves down here, up here in Napanee. Amsden with it. Of course, this Northwood student section making a lot of noise down here in the Panther Pit. That's what they're known for. Amsden will go to work, leaves it for Bules. Triton trying to work down inside that 3-point line a little bit more. Got to keep moving. Just don't stop. Just keep moving. Make them chase you. Orsund will try to cut and trying to get himself freed up away from Bean. Orsund, of course, picked up his dribble, can't put it on the floor. Oviedo with the stop. Drops over to Orsund. Orsund will drive. Pose up strong. They're going to call a charge. Vincent got in there just in time and set his feet. And of course, that's going to force Jason Groves' hand on that one.
Yeah, because he's got 3 fouls right now.
And of course, he's a big focal part of this team. That loss is going to hurt for Triton. Flickinger will come in, hand it off to Bean. He'll drive. Vincent in the corner for three. Rebound, Stratford. He goes up, no good. Amsden sent it back on that one. Bean will drive. Vincent thought about the corner three. Drives. Bean will spot up three. The big man for three. Out. Rebound, Flickinger. Little guy finds Vincent again. Vincent with a second three-point opportunity. Puts it in. 27-9's our score. Richmond will get it, but we'll get Dutkowski, I think, for the foul on that one.
Yep.
Not a totally seasoned team in Northwood, but a very tough group. Very disciplined group, as you've seen thus far. Amsden now will go to work. Back on over to Oviedo. Oviedo drops it for Bules. He'll shot. He'll shoot for three. Got him.
Well, right now, the threes were 4 for 9.
Jared Bules, of course, the main focal point on offense with that one. Vincent in the corner to Flickering, and he'll travel. He went to that left hand and took a step and tried to work it over. Toby Brenner will check in. So Brenner, Vincent, Bean, Flickinger, and Dutkowski all in for the Panthers. Westafer, Oviedo, Atkins, Amsden, and Bules all on the floor for our Trojans. Inside 4 minutes here, the second quarter. Triton trails. Bules. He'll start to drive, work himself out. Finds Amsden. One thing Northwood's done very well, they swarm to the ball now.
Yeah, they're coming out a little bit farther now out when they're out there past that three-point line.
Almost a thrown-away pass. Bules corrals it.
Couple good cuts right through there, but they just close enough on them. They can't get a good pass.
Well, they got enough length there. It's just kind of a hard thing to force. Atkins in the corner for three. Puts it in.
Well, we're 5 for 10 for three-pointers, so if that's the way we got to score.
Just keep shooting. Of course, Jason Groves gets the most out of his players. See what they can hold off here. Flickinger for three. In and out. Rebound, Keegan Westafer. Back on over to Amsden. He's going to push, finds Oviedo, cutting down the left side. Stops. Oviedo tries to go, but Bean will rip it away.
This practically gave it right to him.
Vincent with a transition three. Got it. Northwood's on cruise control here. 2.5 remaining in the second quarter.
Yeah, don't work at the scoreboard. Another one of them that somebody didn't change it when we changed quarters. And that's not on us.
Hey.
That was a good look.
Nice by Keegan. Bank's open for him. It may be after hours, but he reopens the bank with that one.
What was that, Northwood timeout?
I think it was North. Yeah, it was Northwood. Would be a 30-second timeout. So as far, like you said right there, just forget the score. If Triton has that mentality, forget the scoreboard. Just go up and just keep shooting.
Something's going to click. You're going to have something that's going to work a little bit. Just learn from. May not help this game win, but you can use that for another good, tough opponent.
We will face tough teams like Elkhart Christian and different teams down the road. Of course, next game for us will be get our first home game against Career Academy on Tuesday night, and they'll travel down to Pioneer for their first conference game.
Get to break you in for a boys' first home game on the new court.
Exactly. I haven't got to see one of those yet. My boys' home games are all at the Rock. That's okay. Of course, that'll be at the Trojan Trench Tuesday night. The girls will be in action at Knox tomorrow. We're going to get a foul. John Gardner will check in. Of course, be a foul on, looks like it was on Bean. 14 fouls for them now. Of course, John Gardner had a whale of a night, 13 points in the JV win. Taylor Long starting off the 2018-2019 campaign 2-1. Bules on over to Oviedo. Tries to drive baseline, tries to drive the elbow. Bules will spot for three. Puts it in! Jared Bules is in fuego on that one. He's lighting it up from the three-point line. Triton trails by 10. They've came alive here in this second quarter.
Getting these threes might help draw them out a little bit more and like make them relax inside.
It's exactly just like in football. When you start running the football, it'll cheat the defense up enough to where you can get a chance to throw it up over top. That's what Triton's doing here. They're drawing them out to the three-point line to open up stuff down in the middle. Borkholder up fake. He'll go up strong, but Westafer may have fouled him before the shot. But
yeah, I think he got him on the arm just about the time he caught the ball.
And that'll send Borkholder now. They're in the bonus. But, of course, you look at Jared Bules, 5.5 points a game, but shooting 60% from the three-point line on the season. Plymouth didn't get a lot of playing time, got in foul trouble early. Edwards will drive. Got it.
That's 7 on Edwards for this evening.
They lead by 12.
There's a wide open for Gardner.
Just got to have that confidence and just force it in there. Oviedo will drive. Back to Bules. Bules leads for Oviedo. He'll spot for three. Side iron. Freshman having a hard time buying a basket here in this opening half. 32-20 is our score here at the Panther Pit. Andy O'Hara alongside Kenny Barnhart and Orion Limmer for the Triton Trojan Sports Network. Bean with the basketball, works back center court. On over to Vincent. Back to Flickinger, closely guarded by Oviedo. Like the pressure there. Triton going that zone defense, but when they get out the perimeter, they really close on their guy. Flickinger drops to Bean. Atkins comes out and they switch. Finds Oviedo. Triton really make him work for this final shot here. 20 seconds. Aaron Wolfe barking out the play on offense. Edwards directing traffic, finds Vincent. 13 seconds. Leaves for Edwards. Back to Flickinger. Bean gets freed up. On over to Edwards. 5 seconds now. They're going to force a shot here. He's going to drive the lane. Drops it for Borkholder. Shots in. And that's going to bring us to halftime. 34-20. Triton trails, but that was a hard-fought second quarter for them.
Yeah, I mean, we get almost to the end of the first quarter before we score, and then we've started hitting a bunch of threes. We're 6 for 12 in the threes now. You look at the score, yeah, 34-20. You come down, you get a couple more threes, where you get a couple stops, that can still be a different ball game.
Well, they just matched NorthWood. They went toe for toe, 17 points apiece in that quarter. They can kind of come out and just kind of slow them down, stop them on offense, do what they're doing, like you said, drawing them out to the three-point line. That'll really open things up when you get Orsund and Richman back in the basketball game. Let them two kind of patrol down there. Keegan Westafer does things good, really well down in the paint as well.
Yeah, Keegan gets very scrappy too down under there, and he can get that ball away from him, or at least just put a stop to him.
Oh yeah, and he's one tough dude. We know that for sure. We watched him playing football, and he came on there towards the end of the season. Kenny, what were some of our halftime stats?
Oh, for NorthWood, their top scorer has been Vincent with 12. Trent Edwards with 7. Jason Borkholder with 8. And Dutkowski was 5. And Bean was with 1, which is surprising. And Stratford was 1. For your Triton Trojan, Jared was 12. Bules. And Atkins had 3. Keegan had 5. And that rounds everybody out. So with Jared being the top scorer, tying with NorthWood's Vincent. Anybody in foul trouble, really Orsund with 3, Richman with 2. That's the only ones there, and NorthWood's just got a few guys with a couple, or 1 of each. So nothing really on NorthWood's side for fouls.
I was chatting with a few of the guys over here, and I found out that Keegan's going to probably be done for the game, because as far as 5 quarters, because he played all 4 quarters of the JV contest. And that might mean that John will not play. I don't know if he'll get many more minutes, so you're going to be looking at Chase Butler and possibly Tyson Yates being your other couple guys on the bench, and Trenton Kreft, who played quite a bit of that JV game. So you're going to be real limited on bench depth as going forward. So getting ready to get things underway here for the second half. Triton came alive in that second quarter, matched them for 17 points. They're going to have to make them, put them on a less, they're going to have to hold them to less than 10 points in this quarter to have a chance to kind of come back in this game.
They don't give up. Keep chipping away. You never know. A couple stops, a couple threes can be quite a bit different of a ball game.
That's one thing I really appreciate with Jason's teams is these guys really just keep working. They don't quit. They just keep driving. They don't give up on it. Amsden, Richman, Oviedo, Bules, and Orsund all in the game for Triton. Dutkowski, Edwards, Bean, Vincent, and Flickinger all in the game for the Panthers. Orsund will get it far side. Bules finds Amsden on over to Oviedo. Trying to get to work, finds Amsden. NorthWood really crowding the line outside. They're trying to get Richman freed up down in the paint. Oviedo, he'll shoot. It's up. Got it! Ashton Oviedo lifts the lid. Triton trails by 11. Back to, I can't say his name, Flickinger. I'll say flickering. I know that's not right. Bean will drive. Edwards in the corner for three. Side iron, no good. Rebound. Oh, Bules had a chance at it. He's still fighting for it. Oviedo comes away with it. Amsden's on a breakaway. Stops, goes up, blocked by NorthWood. Vincent will drive now to the left. He's going to go to work. He'll drive. Loses Amsden on the floor. Goes up strong. Rebound, Richmond. We're going to say there's a foul. They're not moving quick enough.
NorthWood's 13.
That's Dutkowski.
That's his second foul.
NorthWood gets the first foul of the second half, and they'll put on this press here. Amsden will get freed up. Like I said, quick feet, and he's got that 1-2 quick step speed. He can move with it. Oviedo, cross court, Amsden gets it up. They're going to go to work. Jason Grove directing traffic. One thing it's kind of fun for me to watch is Jason Groves versus Aaron Wolfe and the coaching styles and the aspects and what these two guys, that chess match between those two, I thought was going to be a fun one to watch. Oviedo trying to work against oh boy. Flickinger. I want to say flickering. I know that's wrong. Oviedo, beautiful. And it's pretty.
That gets his 5 points for this evening.
And like I said, just give him time. He'll figure it out. He's a smart player. I mean, like I said, freshman. When we interviewed him on Tuesday night, his IQ really impressed me as far as how he talks and what he does on the court and how, I mean, in certain moments, he keeps his head and he keeps his composure. You don't see that very often, the freshmen that can keep their nerves. Triton now back within 10. Edwards with it, back over. Vincent with it. Orsund tips away. Orsund tries to save it.
Almost. Ran out of a little bit of real estate there.
Now, I was kind of watching. When Triton kind of gets a little bit of pressure on them, it seems like NorthWood tries to hurry themselves to move the basketball. Is that just me, or is that you seeing that too?
Yeah, they're getting a little anxious on a little bit as they're think they're getting close.
In that second quarter, Triton kind of rattled them a little bit. Like I said, going toe for toe with them. You got to keep rattling them here. Dutkowski on over to Bean. Edwards spots up for the mid-range jumper. It's in.
Well, Edwards has got 9 and Vincent's got 12. So if they get those two guys to cool them off a little bit.
Amsden back on Oviedo. He'll spot for 3. Put! Oh, I thought it went in.
From this angle, it did look like
it looked like it went in. My God, I don't like this angle. Edwards up fake.
Ooh, good.
Oviedo steps in front of it. The freshman coming alive here in the second half. He'll go up strong to the basket.
Oh.
But Bean will strip it away. But hey, just keep doing that. He knows he can run against him. He's getting that confidence.
That would have been one as he was going. If he could have just got a good stop, let your defender fly by and popped it.
Orsund receives the inbound. Back over to Bules. Hands off to Amsden. Back to Oviedo. Oviedo will stop, kind of run down the baseline, but he'll step on the line there. Guy's left foot in. That momentum kind of carried him out just enough, just a little too wide.
I think as he's getting ready to go, because he knew he was going to pass it, and all of a sudden the lane that he was going to first pick wasn't there, and he had to reevaluate and got on that line.
Like I said, give that kid time. He figures it out. Triangle more little zone defense. Flickinger goes up, rebound Orsund.
He had a hand on it, looked like.
Tye Orsund a force on the defensive side. Amsden on over to Oviedo. Works it back. Bules spots for three. Looks like they got a piece of it. Flickinger might have got a piece of that one. Triton trails by 11. Here at the Panther pit. This team's really improved since that first quarter.
Yeah, I think, hey, there's a good turnover.
He took off. He didn't put the ball. He took that initial 2 steps before he put that ball on the floor.
Yeah, I think they just kind of calmed down. Yeah, we're behind. Well, hey, but we got to refocus and let's get going.
Just keep playing our brand. Forget that scoreboard. Just keep fighting. Borkholder will check in. Back to Amsden. Just trying to work it in there, trying to kind of move, trying to run a little bit of a swinging gate, looks like. Honor to Bules. Jared back on top to Oviedo. Down low to Richman. We're going to get, it's like a foul on Northwood. It might be on Borkholder. And it is. So
that's his first.
So that's 2 team fouls here in the second half. Oviedo receives the inbound from Amsden. Back to him. Bules will work his way around. Amsden trying to find Oviedo, but Vincent with the pressure. Triton's trying to slow it down just a little bit here. Got to keep moving. Can't stand still.
There are a couple times, like when Amsden got the ball, the Northwood 33, he comes over there and it looks like he's just about smacks him right on that arm.
He's a very aggressive defender, like
right there. Yeah, right in front of the ref, and
Orsund will spot for 3.
Oop, off the side.
Flickinger loses it. Bules comes away with it. He doesn't have numbers on but he's going to go up strong.
Good look.
And they're going to get a foul. It's not a charge. It'll be a blocking foul on Edwards. Good call there. He kind of slid in underneath and didn't quite get himself in position. He slid underneath the Bules there on the cut, and Bules pulled away from him. He didn't drive. Smart. That's the good thing for Jared there. Recognized he was going to plant his feet and kind of faded away from him versus going right up against him.
Yeah, I think if he would have more of leaned, he would have gotten called for that charge.
In and out. But that's one thing with Jason Groves. Players the Triton players that play from very high IQ. The guys kind of are starting to really learn situational basketball. Bules, shots up, in and out.
Missed.
Empty trip. Bean with the rebound. Of course, Dutkowski just checked in. Edwards with it. He'll drive, spots over to Bean. Oviedo's going to come out and pressure him a little bit. Vincent alone for 3. Side iron, rebound Bules. Finds Oviedo. Offense is really starting to kind of flow through him a little bit. Him and Bules are kind of taking it to him on the scoring aspect. Oviedo's going to drive. Nice move. Amsden will go for 3. Oh, that looks good. Borkholder doesn't have the numbers in the fast break. Dutkowski smartly backs out. Triton going to more of a 2-3 zone defense. They're trying to take the middle away from them. And so far, they've done that, only allowing 2 points here in this third period. In the meantime, scoring 5, and all 5 of those coming from Oviedo. Dutkowski tries to pass it down, and Oviedo comes away with it.
Looks like Richman got a hand on that. Helped him out.
Like I said, Richman plays real good inside the paint down there. He knows how to move. With that size, he moves around just enough to really get guys freed up and does real well on the defensive end. Orsund goes up strong with the right hand, banks it in. Tye Orsund reopens the bank on that one.
All right, gets his first 2 points of the game. What's surprising is Quentin Amsden has not scored yet.
Hasn't really had the opportunity. He had that one open look from 3, but he had a breakaway spot, but he couldn't just get it up in time. They blocked it away, so he's got a couple attempts. Orsund takes it away. Orsund's going to use that speed to go up strong. Bean's going to be there, and Bean will draw the charge.
Yep. He had his shoulder just enough when he hit him.
That's not good. 4 fouls on Orsund, 1 more, and he's done. If he would have just stopped, his momentum and probably went up with it. Trenton Kreft's going to check in. He would have had him. So Kreft and Atkins check in for Amsden and Orsund. So Richman, Oviedo, Atkins, Kreft, and Bules on the floor for Triton. Vincent, Edwards, Dutkowski, Bean, and Borkholder all on the floor for the Northwood Panthers. Edwards goes to work left, spins back right, moves to go to Bean, but he slipped. Drops it back to Vincent, closely guarded by Jared Bules. Vincent will go, dribbles between the legs, tries to work back to the middle. The lefty's working right, hands off to Dutkowski. Dutkowski leaves it for Bean. Bean's going to drive hard against Kreft, but Kreft shuts the door on that one. Kreft gets back out, closes off Dutkowski. Vincent gives it to him. This zone defense, Triton plays very well. Bean, oh, looks like he traveled there. I would have called that one. Bean gets a lucky roll.
Now, Bean, for as much as he's been moved around, he only has 3 points for this evening.
Bules receives it. Very aggressive defender. Like you said, he kind of just slapping. He's getting away with some calls. Richman receives up top. Wanted to go to Bules. Got to put it on the floor. Trenton Kreft now with it. Of course, Kreft can be a good matchup for Triton down low too. He can muscle his way in. He's a tough guy. Bules finally gets moving. Got to put the ball on the floor. Can't hold it for too long. Gets it worked out. Triton holding for the last shot. Oviedo's going to drive the basket. Gets a good look. Reopens the bank. Ashton Oviedo pulls Triton within 9. So big thing there, Kenny. What did we say they needed to do in that quarter?
Just stay even. Stay up with them, stay even. Don't give up.
They held Northwood to 4 points in that quarter. In the meantime, putting up 9 of their own. So they're
gaining.
They're figuring it out. They're just little bits in here, little bits and pieces, just keep chipping away. And of course, Ashton Oviedo just came alive. That kid's a monster.
Yeah, he just kept working his way around in there and taking some of those shots, or at least getting them defenders in, maybe to get somebody else to come open.
But especially that last second shot there where he drove in, did a real good job, knew how many steps he needed. You can see the math rolling in his mind. He says, okay, if I go here, you can see him read those steps before he even got there. He predetermined that lane being open.
Yeah, he was going to see right where that defender was probably going to anticipate meeting up with him, and he just made sure he didn't meet up with him and get blocked.
And he went up strong with it, though, but he kind of did a real good job bringing that ball in kind of low instead of going straight up high, and really threw off that Northwood defender.
Anybody really other than Orsund with 4? That's the only thing for Triton that's got anybody that's got any foul problems. Dutkowski's got 2 for Northwood. Pretty much they didn't have 3 fouls, and we only had the 1 for the half for this last third quarter.
So Triton can stand tall in this fourth quarter. They can put themselves in the position to win this ball game. Bules, Amsden, Richman, Oviedo, and Atkins on the floor for our Trojans. Vincent, Edwards, Borkholder, Flickinger, and Bean rounding out the 5 for the host Panthers. Flickinger drops down to Borkholder. Richman shuts it off there. Richman trying to work against him. Richman goes up strong, blocks it!
I think he got hit by about 3 different Triton defenders. I think all 3 of them got a piece of that ball.
Yeah, Borkholder didn't have an easy trip in the paint on that one. Ball goes out on Triton. That zone defense really did a good job. Aaron Wolfe's Panthers had a hard time with it. Borkholder got free in the paint for a moment, but Bean's got it. He'll go up strong. He'll draw the foul and one opportunity.
The basket is good by Nick Bean.
Figure out who they're going to call it on.
Eventually.
The foul is on number 12, Jared Bules. Bean and line to complete the 3-point quarter.
Triton trails here by 11. Bean's free throw gets a friendly roll in. 2 for 3 from the line for him tonight. Amsden with it, back on over to Bules. The press being put on by Northwood, but Triton's quick, that quick ball, and these guys, how quick they are on the IQ, they're really playing against that press really well. Amsden with the basketball, got to put on the floor. On over to Atkins. Bules circling around the top, gets it. Back on over to Amsden. Amsden now, closely guarded by Flickering. Flickinger.
Richman had a good look, just did not get that to drop.
Don't give him too many of those opportunities. He'll make you pay for them. Triton dropping back in a little bit closer to the post. They're really trying to close off that post, make Northwood shoot the 3. Edwards goes up, found it.
Trent Edwards for 2.
Uses that length on that one. 43-29. Needs to keep fighting here. Amsden with the basketball. Back over to Oviedo. The freshman juke moves him there. Tries to jukes him out a little bit. Atkins spots for three. Short. And rebound's going to go off on Flickinger. Triton hangs on. Keegan Westafer must still have a couple minutes left in him. He comes back in. Lucas Richman will take a seat. What Westafer may lack in height, he picks up in strength. And I mean, this kid knows how to use his body. And really, he's got that high IQ as well, playing down in the post and playing against the bigger players. Amsden will drive. This is Flickinger from Amsden. Oh, or Atkins alone for three. Not good. Rebound Bean. But Westafer's going to get him from the foul, trying to go over and back. Tyson Yates will get up. Now, Yates has a lot of things. I know his turnovers can pile up as far as on the season. I mean, he has the most turnovers of all the boys on the team. But he's they're a young, promising freshman who can do a lot of special things with the basketball. Good facilitator, good defender, and he can really do a lot of good things as far as scoring as well.
Well, in Plymouth game, he was one of them that started going into the line, or dribbling and getting into that paint, drawing those defenders in.
Edwards for three, in and out, rebound, Bules. Sees that tip from Westafer. Bules is still putting the ball on the floor, and he'll try to go, but going to get a foul. Lucky break there. Looked like it would have been a travel. That's going to be on Vincent.
That's only his second.
And Brenner will check in. That'll send Borkholder to the bench. Aaron Wolfe trying to go with a little bit more size down there in the bottom. Westafer trying to get position on it. He does on Brenner. Double team. Westafer goes up strong. Oh, on side iron. Not enough on it.
Yeah, he's not afraid to push these guys.
And that's one thing, like we saw him playing tight end this year for the football team. He's not afraid to make contact and go up against the big guys. He's not afraid at all. No fear with this young man. Bean spots for three. Back iron. Rebound. Quentin Amsden. He's going to try to split the defenders and goes up strong, but Bean tips it away. Goes out on Vincent. Amsden had the right idea. Bean got a hand on it. Now for the freshman, he's going to have to really pay attention here. Bules, he'll drive. Tries to leave for Oviedo. Finds Yates. Yates on over to Westafer. Back to Amsden. Amsden leaves it for Bules. Back to Yates. On over to Westafer. He's in the corner. He'll go to work. Tries to find someone to get open. Bules circles back to him in the center court. Yates trying to find Amsden. He'll work out. Of course, Quentin Amsden, he can score too. Hasn't got it yet, but give him time.
Yeah, he's had those looks at the three-point, but he just can't take them.
Amsden trying to step back. Flickinger closed on him quickly. Edwards closely on Bules. He's not giving him an inch. Finds Westafer. Back to Oviedo. Oviedo with the up fake. He'll try to go drive against him. Hop step. Leaves it for Bules. He'll try a three. Oh, man. Looked good from here. Flickinger comes away with it. Hands on over to Edwards. Edwards will drive. Shot from the elbow. Short. Rebound. Westafer or Bules. Bules gets it. He's going to try to slow it. They're trying to go here. Finds Oviedo. Oviedo with the up fake. He's going to drive. Stops. Picks up his dribble. On over to Amsden. Amsden with this head fake. Not there. Finds Yates. On quickly over to Westafer. Oviedo sets the screen on Bean. Westafer go off his foot. Tye Orsund with 4 fouls will be checking in. Got to leave it through Westafer, and it is.
Is it me, or does this feel like the first quarter?
It kind of just the feeling as far as the first couple minutes it has been. They played well in those 2 middle quarters, but they got to come up big here on this one. Good call, Ryan. Flickinger on over to Brenner, back over to Vincent. Back to Edwards. He'll go to work now. Back to Bean. Brenner works on and over to Flickinger. Back on to Vincent. Vincent, head fake. Edwards, he'll work out. We know he can shoot him.
I can just see NorthWood now just working it. If something comes available, take it. If not, just start working that clock. So where Triton's going to have to step out and get into those lanes and get something to stop.
Oh, who's that one on? That's on Jared Bules. Lucky break for Orsund. It's still not good for Triton.
Yeah, Bules that's his third.
And Vincent will go to the line. He hasn't been there yet, but I can imagine he's a pretty decent free throw shooter. 10. Of course, stay tuned. Post game, we'll have an interview with Tye Orsund. Might get one with Jason Gross. We'll see what happens. Shot by Vincent. It's in. Stratford will check in. 45-29. Got to be proud of how the Trojans have been competing. Just got to put the gas pedal down here.
They didn't get down as far as they did in that first quarter, and with the second and third quarters the way they turned out,
this be a whole different ball game.
The feeling would have been a lot different.
Orsund now leads for Oviedo. He'll stop for three. Missing completely on the left side. Kind of got hurried on his shot.
I think it was one of the first few looks they've really had, and he didn't really have a defender right on his face.
Yeah. Was probably expecting the pressure, but kind of threw him off a little bit. Drops it over to Stratford, down to Brenner, but Tyson Yates will come in and say, I don't think so. 3 minutes, 6 seconds, 45-29 is our score here at the Panther Pit. Andy O'Hara alongside Kenny Barnhart and Orion Limler for the Triton Trojan Sports Network. Edwards drops it on back over to Bean, closely guarded by Amsden. Bean will drive. Leaves it over for Flickinger. Flickinger on over to Bean. Drops it for Brenner. Back to Edwards.
Yep.
And they call it, Bules will force himself, and that'll be a foul. It'll be his fourth personal. Right?
Yes, it is his fourth.
So Bean will inbound. Drops back to Edwards, but Yates closes on him quickly. Yates putting the pressure, but he'll foul there. And that'll give Triton 16 fouls.
You can tell Coach Groves was wanting him to put pressure on him.
Especially that situational basketball, you're going to have to put pressure on them and make them work for it, possibly force a turnover and make them to throw it away.
Almost took the ref's head off there with that pass.
I think he's short enough. He'll be okay. Stratford goes up, but Oviedo and Orsund, I think that's going to be it for Orsund. Oh, that was on Oviedo. Another lucky break for Tye. But Stratford will go to the line.
Yeah, that's Oviedo's first. So.
I mean, he's aggressive, but one thing, you don't see him being overly aggressive and not in like a bad way. I mean, he does a good job just doing a good job as far as like when he plays defense, he's not trying to force himself to make contact with the player, but enough just to throw him off.
It's one of those to be quick on your feet, but yet you look slow.
True. Yeah, exactly. That's correct. That's exactly the right thing. That's exactly the right.
Some of those people, they're looking like it's just effortless, but yet they're sweating, they're busting butt.
And that's one thing with him. I mean, like I said, you look down there, you don't see a lot of the sweat. I mean, Quentin Amsden, of course, you can see with him, but Oviedo's just calm, cool, and collected. Of course, these guys probably that third quarter that's kind of wore themselves out. Oviedo alone for three. Oh. Lid sealed shut on that one.
Good and straight look, but just a little too strong.
I really like his release. It's a quick release when he gets it up.
Nope.
And that's it for Tye. But got to be proud of how these guys have competed here tonight. I mean, these guys just kept coming at you. They didn't quit. But you can tell that second and third quarter really wore them out.
So Keegan got back in there.
So he must have had more time than I thought he did. Amsden letting Yates know what the coach wants him to do. Brenner's shot is up. It's in. Brenner seeing his first points of the night coming from the line. Second side of this 1-and-1 opportunity. Shot is up. It's in. Phelps will check in. Micah Phelps will check in. Not Michael Phelps, Micah. I had to look at that twice. I was typing up my roster last night. Oviedo, he'll work left. Try to work himself right. He'll put on the floor, on over to Amsden. Amsden will find a three right there. Oh, that was the right look.
If he could have had some more of those earlier in the game, the look, hit one of those or two of those,
he'd be starting to catch on. Borkholder with it.
Oh, there
Thrown away by Amsden. He's going to drive to the basket. Oh. Thought he was going to have more
he's
pressure.
Holding his foot.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
It's the last thing Triton needs is another injury.
He's probably thinking, I got to get on this board tonight.
Atkins will check in. Eric Callahan will go take a look. He's really holding that right foot. He's trying to put weight. He's keeping his weight off the whole pad of his foot.
Oh.
Could be his ankle. Heckaman will come out and help him off the floor. With Beau Hepler being out, Triton can't go down another key guard. Jason Gross is going to come out and settle these boys down. Lone senior on the floor is Atkins. Out there with two freshmen, two sophomores. No, sophomore and a junior. Flickinger works right, coming back to the middle. On over. Schwartz with it. He'll check in. Schwartz receives it in the corner. Back on top. Miller with it. He'll receive inside a minute. Flickinger for three. Got it. Keep wanting to say flickering. I got to slow myself down. Tyson Yates leaves it for Westafer. Keegan will try to drive baseline, but he'll draw the foul. That'll be on Micah Phelps. Stay tuned post game following. I'll try to go down and get Tye Orsund. Chase Butler's going to check in, see his first minutes. Now send Jared Bules to the floor, to the bench. So Butler, Atkins, Oviedo, Yates, and Westafer on the floor for Triton. Inbound to Oviedo. Ashton's going to drive. He'll go. Beautiful look. Oh, that was pretty. Wiens with it. Comes past the half-court line. Oviedo's going to foul him there. Should be in the double bonus, I believe. Nope, 1-on-1 still.
Yep.
Wiens at the line. Out there with Miller, Schwartz, Phelps, and Stratford. First shot will drop for Wiens. 51-31 is our score. Second shot, in and out. Rebound. Yates has got it. He's going to come past the half-court line inside 20 seconds now. Works to Westafer, back to Oviedo. Oviedo's going to drive to the basket. Tries to go up again. Can't buy a foul there. And that'll going to close it out here. They'll dribble it out. Wiens will try to hold it, and that'll be it. 51-31 is our final here. But it was a well-earned 31 points for Triton. They worked hard. They came alive. They just seemed to be gassed there towards the end.
Yeah, they just, that first quarter got them. Yeah, there we go. had to get our scoreboards captured before we lost it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that first quarter just got them enough in a hole. They regrouped for that second and third quarter, but then that fourth quarter they just kind of started running out of gas to keep up.
So we're going to leave Kenny to do some stats here real quick. I'm going to go down and try to get Tye Orsund and Jason Gross possibly for an interview postgame. We'll be right back.
We'll start with NorthWood here unofficially. Vincent had 14 points. Edwards had 11 points. Borkholder had 8. Bean had 6. Dutkowski had 5. Flickinger had 3. Strafford had 1. Wiens had 1, and Brenner had 2. For the Triton, leading with us was Bules with 12. Oviedo had 9. Westafer had 5. Atkins had 3, and Tye Orsund had 2. So we shot 7 for 23 from the 3 points, which those 3-pointers sure helped us keep going there in that second quarter. NorthWood shot 6 of 13. 2 points, field goals, we only shot 5 of 11, where they shot 11 of 20. So until he gets somebody up here, we'll be signing off for just a bit, but stay tuned and we'll have the post-game interview.
Andrew here alongside senior Kaden Atkins. Kaden, what do you love about playing basketball?
I love everything about basketball. It's been my favorite sport ever since I was little, and I grew up playing it. I love everything about it.
So that's kind of how you got started as a little kid, wanting to play ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was the same way. I sat there. I grew up in the 90s basketball at the NBA when it was that whole defense, or I guess ground and pound defense that they played. I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than watching those guys play defense. That's how I kind of fell in love with basketball. Upperclassmen, you've had a lot of minutes. You played a lot of JV last season, but you're getting a lot of varsity minutes this season. What kind of things are you teaching the younger players and the example you're trying to set for them?
Keep doing their best. The only way to get better is practice your hardest every single day, and it'll pay off in the long run.
What kind of things are you trying to learn from the other guys as far as that and the coach? I know being a senior, there's not a lot to learn, but there is still stuff to learn each game. What kind of things are you trying to learn from everybody?
Just calm down when you're out on the court. Everything's moving so fast. You take your time, breathe, and it'll all come easy.
All right. Little boys and girls want to get started in basketball. What kind of direction would you send them in? What things would you give them advice as far as them getting started?
Like I said, you need to practice every day. Basketball is a sport where you can't just pick it up and be good at it. It takes a lot of work. And other than that,
a lot of repetition.
Yep.
Just keep shooting, keep dribbling the basketball. The more you do that, the more it comes second nature.
Yep.
Favorite subject in school and why? I know being a senior, you probably got to have one or two in there.
I love math.
Very good.
I'm a big numbers guy. So
hey, out there in basketball, there's a lot of numbers out there, and the angles like we talk. I can't remember who I talked to now about geometry. That's going to be bad. I forgot that one. But as far as I think it was one of the girls that told me about geometry. But there's a lot of angles out there as far as things. A lot of math in basketball. Can you elaborate how you use that in basketball?
I
you just can't. Okay. No problem. Being a senior, future plans. What do you plan on doing for next year?
All my life I've wanted to be a sports broadcaster, so that's what I'm going to pursue in college.
Very good. Maybe you come back and replace me.
I don't want to replace you.
Oh, that's okay. You might want to go back on a bigger stage. So what I tell my daughter.
Yeah.
What kind of interest in broadcasting?
Ever since I was little, I would play downstairs in my mini hoop, and I'd call the games as I was playing, and I just fell in love. I love everything about it.
That's how I did. When I was how I fell in love was I started watching March Madness. Mm-hmm. I put on mute and start talking. I had guys like Marv Albert and Jim Nance and Al Michaels. Listen to those guys. That's how I could go to bed listening to those guys talk all night long. How they describe the game. And it's more than just a game. And they kind of really describe and paint that picture for you. But a very cool broadcaster. I'm starting to slowly moving up the ladder there, Kaden. Favorite thing to do outside of basketball? I know we talked about even sports. Favorite thing to do kind of outside of everything at school? Something that nobody really knows, a hobby, stuff like that.
Well, I'm pretty busy in the school year. I play football, basketball, and golf. And I love to work and make money in the summer. So.
Oh, there you go. Hey, that's always a positive. Got to have that spending money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Anybody want to give a shout-out to at home that's watching?
My girlfriend, Delaney Groves, is at home watching. She didn't make the trip today. So.
Well, it's recorded, but she can watch it later. She'll get the shout-out. So I know we were supposed to do Tye tonight, but appreciate you stepping in for him.
No problem.
Who do you think we should do next?
Trenton Kreft.
Trenton Kreft. All right, so we'll do Trenton Kreft on our next broadcast on Tuesday night, as we'll be live from the Trench taking on Career Academy. Of course, the girls will be at Knox tomorrow. So we'll see you next time on the Triton Trojans Sports Network.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kaden. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much.